The world's youngest serial killers. Shocking stories. Throughout history, there have been shocking cases of young people committing extreme acts of violence, often leaving communities and the world speechless. Some of these young serial killers were driven by mental illness, family trauma, or simply an insatiable thirst for violence. In this feature, we look at some of the youngest serial killers in history, updating the cases with the latest information and including new, disturbing incidents. Eric Smith, USA. 1993. Born in 1980, Eric Smith was just 13 years old when, on August 2, 1993, he lured Derek Roby, a 4-year-old boy, into a wooded area near Savona, New York. After a brutal attack, Derek's body was found shortly thereafter. Smith was tried as an adult and sentenced to 9 years to life in prison. After several denied parole applications, he was released in February 2022, after 28 years in prison. Mary Bell, UK. 1968. Born in 1957 in Newcastle, Mary Bell killed 2 children at just 10 years old, Martin Brown, 4 years old, and Brian Howe, 3 years old. She left defiant messages at the crime scene and was arrested with her friend Norma Bell. She was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter due to psychological problems and sentenced to an indefinite prison term. Released at 23, she lived under protection with a new identity and a lifelong anonymity order. Amarjeet Sada, India. 2006 to 2007. Born in 1998 in Bihar, Amarjeet is considered the youngest serial killer in history, with his first murder at the age of 7. He killed 3 children, including his 6-month-old cousin and 8-month-old sister. The third murder in 2007 attracted the attention of the police. He killed a 6-month-old baby girl with rocks. Due to his young age, he was detained in a juvenile detention center and released in 2016 at the age of 18. His current whereabouts are unknown. Seto Sakakibara, Japan. 1997. Known as the Kobe school killer, Sakakibara was 14 when he committed 2 murders in 1997. He killed 2 children, including June Hayes, 11, whose head he left in front of the school with a message signed with his pseudonym. After 7 years in a juvenile detention center, he was released in 2004 with a new identity. In 2015, he published a detailed autobiography about his crimes, sparking controversy in Japan. Michael Hernandez, USA. 2004. In 2004, at the age of 14, he lured his classmate Jamie Goff into the school bathroom in Miami and stabbed him to death. Hernandez's diary revealed that he had planned to murder other students. He was sentenced to life in prison in 2008 without the possibility of parole. He died in prison on April 29, 2021 from natural causes. James Fairweather, UK. 2014. At the age of 15, he committed 2 brutal murders in 2014, choosing vulnerable victims in Colchester. The first victim was James Atfield, 33, a man with brain injuries, followed by Nahid Al-Manea, 31, a Saudi student. He was arrested in 2015 while roaming with a gun near a remote area. Sentenced in 2016 to life in prison with a minimum of 27 years before parole. John Venables and Robert Thompson, UK. 1993. In 1993, 2 10-year-old boys kidnapped and brutally murdered 2-year-old James Bulger in Liverpool. The case shocked the world for its cruelty. Venables and Thompson were convicted but released in 2001 under new identities. John Venables has been arrested multiple times for possession of child pornography and is currently in prison. Alyssa Bustamante, USA. 2009. In 2009, at age 15, he killed 9-year-old Elizabeth Olton to know what it feels like to kill. She confessed to the crime and was sentenced in 2012 to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 35 years. She is currently serving her sentence in Missouri. Jesse Pomeroy, USA. A historic case, but still studied by experts today. Born in 1859, he was convicted of a series of murders and acts of torture on children. He spent his entire life in prison until his death in 1932. Craig Price, USA. At the age of 13, he killed his first victim and then massacred an entire family. He is currently serving a life sentence without the possibility of release, with additional convictions for assaults in prison. Joshua Phillips, USA. Sentenced in 1999 for the murder of his 8-year-old neighbor. Despite numerous requests for a review of the sentence, in 2023 the court upheld his sentence to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Paris Bennett, USA. At 13, he killed his 4-year-old sister in revenge against his mother. In 2022 he requested a review of his sentence, but the court confirmed that he will remain incarcerated until at least 2047. Graham Young. United Kingdom. Known as the teacup poisoner, Young began poisoning classmates and family members at a young age. Arrested at 14, he was later released, but began poisoning co-workers again. He died in prison in 1990. Barry Lakaitis, USA. At just 14 in 1996, he committed a shooting at his school, killing 3 people. Sentenced to life in prison, he obtained a review of his sentence in 2017 and could now be released from prison in 2042. Daniel Bartlam, UK. At 14, he killed his mother with a hammer, inspired by scenes from horror films. Sentenced in 2012, he will serve at least 16 years before he can apply for parole. Lionel Tate, USA. At 12, he killed a 6-year-old girl, claiming he had accidentally hit her while imitating wrestling. He was sentenced to life in prison, but his sentence was later reduced and he was released in 2004. However, he was arrested again for robbery in 2006. Jordan Brown, USA. Arrested at age 11 for the murder of his father's pregnant partner, he was initially convicted as an adult. In 2018, his conviction was overturned and he is now a free man. These cases demonstrate how violence can manifest itself even at a very young age, often linked to psychological, environmental, and social factors. Many of these young killers have received psychiatric treatment, but their actions have left indelible marks on the families of the victims and the communities in which they operated. If these topics fascinate you, continue following us for in-depth information on other criminal cases.